is no single reason why cities are built on top of each other. After the Great Fire of Rome in the 1st century, most of the city had to be rebuilt. But instead of clearing away the rubble, it was quicker and easier to simply flatten it out and build on top. This meant that new buildings were about a meter higher than the street. And so, to match the new height, the streets were raised and resurfaced, using rocks from the surrounding debris. With every fire and natural disaster that occurred, this process would repeat itself, raising the city and leaving old ruins buried underground. One of the clearest examples of this is the Basilica of San Clemente in Rome. The structure we see today is from the 12th century, but it was built directly on top of an old church from the 4th century. That church was built directly on top of a mysterious old temple. And that temple was built on top of an old house. And there are even older ruins beneath that. All in all, the valley in which San Clemente lies is now 18 meters higher than it was in the 1st century. Here's what happened. Back in 1st century Rome, before the Colosseum was built, a Roman villa sat at the bottom of the valley. After being damaged in a fire, it was converted into a temple by the Mithra people, a mysterious cult which was gaining popularity throughout Rome. But by the end of the 4th century, the temple was partially destroyed by the Christians. Looking to promote their religion, they decided to build a new basilica on top of the old temple. This basilica served the Christians for another 800 years, but by the 12th century, it fell into disrepair. After multiple fires and rebuilds around the basilica, the street level had risen considerably, and so instead of knocking it down, a new basilica was built on top. This is the one we see today. Eventually, the ruins beneath the basilica were filled in, and because no one kept track, all knowledge of the previous layers was completely lost. But in the 1800s, an archaeologist started digging and unearthed the old basilica with a staircase leading down to the 1st century temple. Inside was a Mithra shrine, and scrolled on the walls were paintings dedicated to the Mithra god.